What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and some interesting news of a new massive lawsuit that Twitter has lost. Elon Musk speaking out on that, and a thank you to those few people who are still watching my videos while the trial's going on. It ends Friday, so I expect a lot of people to return next week, and that's okay. I'm actually going to stream this afternoon at about 3:30 Central Time. 3:30, 4 o'clock Central Time. So just a chill stream, hang out. Hope to see you there. Now, right here on the channel, by the way. Twitter rescinds job offer to new hire. Whole world just got destroyed. A recently hired Twitter employee was offered, jobs offer was reportedly rescinded last week as a social media giant frantically slashes costs during the buyout talks with Elon Musk. The scorned job seeker, identified as a male Palo Alto-based tech worker, and said he had already begun preparations for the Mexico-based role on Twitter's media partnership team, including quitting his current job, backing out of his local apartment lease, and securing temporary housing in Mexico City. Now, that does suck. You have all that. That's not awesome. But, days before the role was slated to begin, a Twitter representative informed the worker that his job offer was being rescinded due to the, quote, current situation at the company. My whole life got destroyed in 20. That sucks. I feel really bad for them. This also coming out. Jack Dorsey's backstabbing led to Elon Musk takeover Twitter co-founder. Former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey served the company on a platter Elon Musk by backstabbing the company's board of directors. One of the social media giant's co-founders alleged. Jason Goldman, a former member of the board who took part in Twitter's founding team more than a decade ago, told Bloomberg that he believes Jack Dorsey encouraged Musk to buy the company outright after Musk had initially been in talks to merely join the board. Goldman, who was Twitter's vice president of product, told Bloomberg that the company's chairman, Brett Taylor, and CEO Paraja Agrawal struck a deal with Musk to bring him on director in exchange for him agreeing not to buy up more shares. An SEC filing, we know the 9.2 stuff. Musk had asked Twitter's board to convene a meeting during which Dorsey shared his personal view that Twitter would be able to better focus on execution as a private company, according to an SEC filing. Goldman said that Dorsey's comments suggest that he was the one who urged Musk to take over the company entirely and take it private. To me, that is a clear backstabbing of the board by the founder when they had a deal in place in hand to come to a standstill. Goldman told Bloomberg that Twitter shareholders want Musk to adhere to the terms of $54.20 per share. Musk tweeted that the deal is on hold due to purported concerns about the prevalence of spam and bot accounts. Twitter has stated its intention to enforce the agreement despite Musk's misgivings. Analysts believe that Musk is simply looking for a way to renegotiate the purchase price, particularly after Twitter stock plummeted in recent weeks. Well, yeah, I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen. Now, on top of this, more bad news for Twitter. This shared by Steve Mark Ryan, I don't know. Anyway, this should come as a surprise to no one. I am often badgered to provide my date of birth so Twitter can make more money selling targeted ads under the guise of wanting to ensure I don't see inappropriate content. This is a dishonest business practice. He takes Elon Musk. Musk replies to this thread, by the way. He continues, "This is almost as bad as the original Facebook terms of service. I actually read everything before signing up and was stunned at failure to provide my full legal name could result in immediate termination of my account. Obviously a huge red flag. Obviously they did not get what they wanted. 3, if Twitter cares about shielding under 18s from sensitive content, they should ask users to tick a box confirming that they're over, but they don't want to know if you're over 18. They want to know how old you are to target ads. 4, some dingbat is going to say, but you could always lie and tick the box from over 18. Sure. To you, I respond, the only thing not working is your brain. You can make up a fake birthday too, so this argument is a non-starter. Elon actually replies, if Twitter was not truthful here, what else is not true? This is very concerning news. And this is after late yesterday, Twitter agreed to pay a $150 million fine after federal law enforcement officials accused the social media company of improperly collecting and selling users' personal data to advertise over a period of 6 years. What I always think is interesting about this is how much of this $150 million is going to the people that were wronged? Yeah, the number is zero. The federal government gets this money and then they send it to the Ukraine. I mean, I don't really know what they do with this money. It doesn't go to people whose data was misused. Twitter doesn't care because they made way more than $150 million misusing that data. And really the only people that get hosed in this are the consumers. Twitter has agreed to pay a $150 million fine after federal law enforcement officials accuse a social media company of illegally using people's personal data over 6 years to help sell targeted advertisements. In court documents made public late Wednesday, the FTC and the Department of Justice say Twitter violated a 2011 agreement with regulators in which the company vowed to not use personal information that they gathered for security purposes, like users' phone numbers and email addresses, to help advertisers target people with ads. However, federal investigators say that Twitter broke that promise. As the complaint notes, Twitter obtained data from users on the pretext of harnessing it for security purposes, but ended up using that data to also target people with ads, said FTC Chair Lena Khan. Twitter requires users to provide a telephone number and email address to authenticate accounts. That information also helps people reset their passwords and unlock their accounts when the company blocks logging in due to suspicious activity. But until 2019 in September, Twitter was also using that information to boost its advertising business by allowing advertisers to access users' phone numbers and email addresses. That ran afoul of the agreement that the company had with regulators, and I imagine with their own users. Quote, if you're telling people that you're using their phone number to secure their accounts and then you use it for other purposes, you're deceiving them and breaking the law, the FTC lead said. More than 140 million people or Twitter users provided that kind of personal information based on Twitter's, quote, deceptive statements, according to federal prosecutors. Consumers who share their private information have the right to know if that information is being used to help target customers, the U.S. Attorney Stephanie Hines said. Twitter's chief privacy officer, Damian Kieran, acknowledged in a blog post that users' personal information may have been inadvertently used for advertising. Are you joking? This is like I accidentally had an affair. Like I tripped and fell on, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Of course they knew what they were doing, and of course it was part of the plan. If we look over the last, say, month, Twitter has been having some issues with their stock. When it felt like the deal was imminent back in the first week of May, it peaked at $50, and then the market started to lose support. Now it's at 45, 40. Now, in the last 5 days, it's actually up a little bit with a nice little jump today. But that's because he boosted his equity component of Twitter bid to 33.5 billion. So 20 hours ago, I think that the market got a signal that he was going to still complete the deal, that it was still the Twitter stock price right now really just seems to ride on the investors' confidence that the deal will be completed. Because if you were 100% positive that the deal would be completed imminently, you would be buying massive amounts of shares at $38 because you're going to get paid out $54.20. There's obviously a lot of people that are not totally sure. I'm sure a bunch of insiders will get the information before us plebs do, but you can see this action, back to the agreement, action echoes a sweeping settlement with the FTC that included a $5 billion fine against Facebook back in 2019, which when the social media giant committed to stop sharing information obtained for security purposes with advertisers. Under the terms of the FTC's deal with Twitter, regulators and independent monitors will have oversight of the company's advertising practices for 20 years. I guess it's no surprise that this is what they were doing. They were busted essentially. Not essentially, but effectively, definitely busted lying to their users, saying, "Oh, well, we need this to confirm your identity, but we're really just going to use it to serve you ads." You see this article, an opinion piece. Musk was right. Liberals are targeting him with, quote, dirty tricks. And this is a good read on the Daily Wire. Because he came out to speak. He's been speaking pretty aggressively against the establishment It's no coincidence that Tesla lost its ESG rating, that suddenly there's these stories coming out that, I guess were no big deal until he decided to buy Twitter. The media didn't care about the veracity of the reporting. They were fine to report on the, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend said this thing. And I think he's going to weather the storm. I guess part of that is I hope he does, because I do still hope he goes through the purchase with Twitter. Although I'm losing confidence because Twitter is not going to give him the information that he wants. And ultimately, when faced with the decision, let's just put it in normal people's numbers, because I can't use billions because nobody's going to really relate to that. But if you were going to lose $100 or $100,000, you're going to pick to lose the 100, meaning Elon could just take the $1 billion penalty and walk away from this. His ego would be bruised. But, if he truly believes the company's only worth 30 and he's overpaying by 20 billion, he's going to try everything he can to drive that price down. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.